Hi everyone. I'm Helen from Susan's family. Today, I'll show you the Jianxi versatile coat from Chinese Aesthetics series. For this electronic tutorial pattern, you can search for susudiy.com on the VX mini program to access it. It consists of two identical fabric pieces joined together with ties. And it can be assembled into various styles according to your preference. One version only requires one piece. Here, I will demonstrate and explain using one of the styles. First, make two work pieces. After completion, make the ties and connect the pieces together. This shawl comes in two sizes, large and small. The making method is the same, only the stitch count and row count are different. Let's start crocheting the fabric piece. A single piece is divided into the main piece and the edging. Start with a chain cast on, then crochet back and forth along this starting row to build up the main body. Once completed, crochet the border around the outer ring. Let's start with crocheting the main piece. The stitches used include chain, single crochet, double crochet, and CH3SL picket. Please watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. For your convenience to see more clearly, I will use cotton yarn for this demonstration. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Let's start with the foundation chain. Wrap the yarn tail once around your left little finger. Pass it through between your middle finger and index finger. Then pinch the yarn tail with your thumb and middle finger. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Position it below the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Use your left thumb and middle finger to pinch the crossing point of the loop. Place the hook on the left side of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Slightly tighten. Now we start crocheting chain stitches. Yarn over and draw through. One chain stitch is completed. The chain stitches here can be made a little looser. Just enlarge the loop on the crochet hook slightly. This kind of braid represents one stitch. Continue crocheting chain stitches, yarn over and draw through. This is the second stitch. Repeat this process. Continue crocheting chain stitches. Keep going until you finish the required number of stitches. I have now completed the required number of stitches here. The swatch has fewer stitches. Refer to the chart for the exact number of stitches. That's how you complete the starting chain. Move on to the first row. Work one chain as the turning chain for the single crochet. The turning chain does not count as a stitch. Work one single crochet. The right side of the chain looks like this V-shaped braid. Pick up with the hook from the left side, the second braid. The back loop, which is the top half of the stitch. It's this strand of yarn. Yarn over and pull through. Now there are two loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through in once. That's how you work one single crochet. Corresponding to the upper right, there is a V-shaped braid. This is the stitch of a single crochet. One stitch indicates one stitch. Crochet 5 chain stitches as an interval below. Except for the starting chain, all the following chain stitches are worked normally. After completion, skip 3 chain stitches below to the left. On the next chain stitch, pick the top half loop of the braid. Work one single crochet. Insert. Yarn over and hook out. Then yarn over and draw through the 2 loops on hook. Complete the single crochet. When stitching this row, always pick the top half loop of the corresponding braid. I won't go into detail after this. Skip one braid on the left below. Pick up one braid. Make 2 double crochets. Yarn over once. Insert. Yarn over and hook out. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, draw through the first 2 loops. There are 2 loops remaining. Wrap the yarn again, pull through once. 1 double crochet is completed. Make another stitch, yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 2 times. 1 time. 2 times. Complete the double crochet. Chain 1 as an interval. Work 2 more double crochets in the same position. Here, I consider the left and right double crochets with the centered chain stitches 1 shell stitch as a shell stitch. Skip 1 chain stitch adjacent to it. Pick up and make 1 single crochet from the back. Chain 5 as a bridge. Skip 3 chain stitches below. Pick the corresponding position and work 1 single crochet. Then crochet a CH3SL picket. From now on, I will simply call it a picket stitch. Start with 3 chain stitches. Then pick up the front strand of the single crochet stitch below. And also the strand on the left side. Work 1 slip stitch. Yarn over and pull through. And draw through in once. Complete the slip stitch. Now the picket stitch is done. I will consider everything crocheted so far, except for the first single crochet, as one motif. Continue crocheting according to this pattern. First, make 5 chains as a bridge. Then skip 3 chain stitches. Work 1 single crochet. Then skip 1 stitch. Make a shell stitch, that is, 2 double crochets. One chain stitch. 2 double crochets. After completing it, skip 1 stitch. And work 1 single crochet. Then crochet 5 chain stitches as an interval. Skip 3 stitches and make 1 single crochet. After finishing, crochet a picket stitch on the top. Now one group is completed. Continue crocheting according to this group pattern. The last single crochet of the last group should be crocheted exactly into an edge chain stitch. After completing this single crochet, there's no need to make a picket stitch here. It should match up with the starting position. At this point, you can check the number of groups in the pattern. This completes the first row. Now move on to the second row. Start with 5 chain stitches as beginning chains. Turn the fabric counterclockwise. Then pick the large space underneath on the left side. Work 1 single crochet. Pick the adjacent single crochet position. Make a shell stitch. Insert the hook into the single crochet stitch here. Pay attention when crocheting on the wrong side. The stitch will be located at the top left. After completing, pick the adjacent shell stitch, the centered chain stitch position. Crochet 1 single crochet in the chain space. Pick the adjacent single crochet position to make a shell stitch. After completing, there is a large chain space next to it. Crochet 1 single crochet. Then work 5 chains as a bridge. I consider the starting single crochet to the chain interval here. As one group of this row, pick up the large chain spaces below respectively, and the centered holes of the shell stitches. Work single crochets correspondingly. Correspondingly make shell stitches at the positions of the single crochets on both sides of the shell stitch. For the next part, there are 5 chains between the single crochets worked in 2 large spaces. I will demonstrate another group now. Work 1 single crochet first. Then make a shell stitch. Followed by crocheting 1 single crochet. Then work 1 shell stitch. Work 1 single crochet in the adjacent space. Then work 5 chains. Another group is completed at this point. Continue crocheting according to the pattern of one group from now on. After completing the single crochet at the edge of the last group, crochet 2 chains as an interval next. Then pick the position of the single crochet from the edge of the previous row. Work 1 double crochet. This completes the second row. Next, move on to the third row, make 1 beginning chain. Then turn over. Pick up the stitch of the double crochet from below. Work 1 single crochet. Then pick the single crochet position to crochet a shell stitch behind. At the adjacent 2 shell stitch positions, work single crochets by picking the centered chain spaces respectively, with an interval of 5 chains in between. After completion, pick the adjacent position with a single crochet, crochet 1 shell stitch. Then at the large chain space behind, work 1 single crochet. I'll move from the starting shell stitch to this single crochet position. Consider this as one group of the row. Next, I'll demonstrate again the technique for one group. At the single crochet position beside the large chain space, correspondingly make a shell stitch. Work single crochets by picking the holes between 2 shell stitches, with an interval of 5 chain stitches in between. Adjacent to that, it's back to the single crochet position beside the large chain space. Correspondingly make a shell stitch. Work 1 single crochet into the large chain space. This way, another group is completed. Continue crocheting according to the pattern of one group. For the last group, work the single crochet into the chain space on the edge. At this point, row 3 is completed. Here, check if the fabric is flat. If it's slightly not even, you can stretch it a bit. If the fabric bends inward significantly, it's recommended to redo the starting chain and crochet again. Make the starting chain looser this time. Next, we'll work on row 4. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet, then turn. Insert the hook into the stitch of the single crochet below. Work 2 double crochets. Including the turning chain, that makes 3 double crochets in total here. Next, work a single crochet into the large space between the adjacent shell stitches. Then crochet 5 chains for the interval. Pick up the large chain space of the adjacent stitch, and work 1 single crochet, work 1 picket stitch on the top. After that, continue with 5 chain stitches as the interval. Pick up the middle space of the adjacent shell stitch, and work 1 single crochet. Next is the position for the single crochet between the shell stitches. Correspondingly, make 1 shell stitch here. I consider this single crochet from the beginning to here as one group in this row. Continue downward to make another group. For the following part, whenever you encounter a shell stitch, insert the hook into the middle hole, and work a single crochet. Start with 1 single crochet, chain 5 as an interval. Pick the large space of the adjacent stitch, and work 1 single crochet. Work 1 picket stitch on the top. After completing it, chain 5 as the interval. Then make 1 single crochet. Work 1 shell stitch in the adjacent position. Another group is now completed. Continue crocheting according to the pattern of one group. At the end of the last group, you need to crochet 3 double crochets. Here, pick the single crochet edge position to work. This way, it will be symmetrical with the starting position. Now row 4 is completed. Next, let's move on to row 5. Start with 1 chain stitch as your beginning chain, then turn over. Pick the stitch of the first edge below. Work 1 single crochet. Crochet a shell stitch at the adjacent single crochet position. Then pick 2 large gaps and crochet single crochets, with a 5 chain stitch interval between them. After completing, pick the adjacent single crochet, crochet 1 shell stitch. Work 1 single crochet in the space above the adjacent shell stitch. I consider from the starting shell stitch to here as one group. Continue crocheting following the pattern of one group. You can also refer to the chart for specifics. the edge single crochet of the last group, crochet in the gap between the previous row's turning chain, and the adjacent double crochet. This completes row 5. Continue to row 6. The stitch pattern of this row is identical to row 2, just the position of the stitches is slightly different. You can directly refer to row 2, or follow the chart for guidance. Work the edge double crochet in the location of the previous row's edge single crochet. This completes row 6. Here, we consider rows 1 through 6 as one crochet repeat. Moving forward, repeat the stitch pattern of the 6 rows for crocheting. Here, you can refer to the chart, compare the length and width of these 6 rows. If the dimensions differ significantly, it's recommended to adjust your tension, or switch to a different hook size and crochet again. In the last row, pick up the large spaces made by 5 chain stitches, and the holes in the middle of the shell stitches. Work single crochets correspondingly. Between the single crochets, chain 3 as an interval. Going forward, follow this method. Refer to the chart. Finish crocheting the remaining part of the main body. After finishing, don't cut the yarn. Continue to crochet the edging next. That concludes the explanation of the main body section. Next, we'll work on the edging. Crochet in rounds along the outer edge of the fabric piece. The new stitches used include the double crochet 3 stitches into the same stitch and crocheted together, and the SC 3-in-1. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small swatch. There are fewer rows and stitches. The main focus is on demonstrating the method. Start by connecting with the previous yarn tail. Make 1 chain as your beginning chain. No need to turn the fabric here. At this point, the last row and the first row's right side face you. This is the side where the stitch texture is clearer. The starting yarn tail is on the left side. Then pick up the single crochet stitch from the edge below. Crochet 3 single crochets. After completing, pick up the side of the single crochet. You can pick it up entirely. Work 1 single crochet. Then pick up the edge of each row going left. The adjacent one is a large chain space. Pick the big space and work 2 single crochets. For the back edge, it's single crochet. Pick up the side or the entire stitch. Crochet 1 single crochet. The next row is a large hole. Work 3 single crochets. In the single crochet position, work 1 single crochet. The next is the beginning chain position for double crochet. Crochet 2 single crochets. In the single crochet position, work 1 single crochet. The next is a large hole. Work 3 single crochets. Going back on this side, when you meet a single crochet, correspondingly work 1 single crochet. When you encounter the turning chain and the large chain space, work 2 stitches in one position. Alternate with working 3 stitches in one position. Continue with this method. Crochet all the way to the edge of the first row. After finishing the edge of the first row, check if the crocheted section is flat. If it's not quite flat, you can adjust the number of 2-stitch and 3-stitch groups. For example, crochet more 2-stitch groups, or more 3-stitch groups. As long as the fabric turns out flat, that's fine. Below is the starting point. First, pick up the edge chain stitch. Here, the chain stitch leaves 2 strands of yarn remaining. Insert the hook. Crochet 3 single crochets. When crocheting, place the yarn tail above the crochet hook. Hide it as you work. You can now see that this part aligns with the already crocheted side. It's in the same chain space. Below is the previously skipped chain stitch position. Pick up the chain and crochet 3 single crochets. Pay attention to weaving in the yarn tail. Next is the single crochet position. Pick up the remaining half of the chain stitch. Crochet 1 single crochet. Adjacent is the skip chain stitch position. Pick up the chain and make 1 single crochet. Next is the shell stitch insertion point. Crochet 1 single crochet. Adjacent is the skip chain stitch position. Pull through 1 single crochet. Crochet 1 single crochet in the single crochet position. Adjacent is the skip 3 chain stitches position. Crochet 3 single crochets. Then pick the insertion points for the single crochet and shell stitch respectively. Crochet 1 single crochet in one position. Skip chain stitch position. Crochet as many single crochets as there are chain stitches. You can also refer to the chart for specifics. Repeat this process. Keep crocheting until the chain stitch position before the edge of this side, that is, before this single crochet position. Once you reach the corresponding position, on the remaining half of the single crochet, crochet 3 single crochets. Then pick up each row on the side and continue crocheting downward. The method is identical to the first side. Correspondingly, crochet 1 single crochet in the single crochet position. In the double crochet position, alternate between 2 single crochets and 3 single crochets. Both sides should be symmetrical here. If the number of stitches was adjusted before, this side also needs to adjust the stitch count accordingly. For the second row on this side, refer to the other side. Crochet the same number of stitches as were crocheted at the front, and crochet the corresponding number of stitches here. Then continue crocheting according to the pattern. When you reach the last row, first pick up the single crochet and crochet 1 single crochet. Then pick up the stitch of the single crochet, and crochet 3 single crochets. Into the next large hole formed by 3 chain stitches, crochet 3 single crochets. Work 1 single crochet into the single crochet stitch position. Repeat this process to finish the remaining part. After finishing this large gap, continue downward to the starting position. Pick up the first single crochet stitch, which is the first large braid on the left side horizontally. Crochet 1 slip stitch to join. Pull tight after completion. To avoid increasing stitches later on, this completes the first round. Move on to the second round. Start with 1 chain stitch as the beginning chain, then pick up the single crochet stitch below and work 1 single crochet. To the left, it's the centered stitch among 3 stitches. Crochet 3 single crochets into the same stitch here. That is, work 3 single crochets in one position. Complete the 3 single crochets into the same stitch, then pick up stitches to the left respectively. Work single crochets evenly, one by one. At the corners, among the 3 single crochets in one position, always work SC3 in 1 into the centered stitch. For the rest, work single crochets without increasing or decreasing. Follow this method, and complete the entire round. After finishing the last stitch, pick up a stitch in the first single crochet, and work a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the second round. Now move on to the third round. Start with 1 chain as your beginning chain, then correspondingly make 1 single crochet. Next, work 3 chains as a transition. Then skip 1 stitch to the left. Pick up the centered stitch from the previous 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Work a DC3 bobble. From now on, I'll simply call it a puff stitch. Begin by working an incomplete double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook, draw through, yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. There are 2 loops remaining on the hook. This is an incomplete double crochet. Work 2 more incomplete double crochets in the same position. 1 stitch, 2 stitches. Now there are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, and draw through in once. 1 puff stitch is done. Crochet 3 chain stitches as a transition. Skip the first stitch on the left side, make 1 single crochet. Continue with 3 more chain stitches as a transition. Skip 2 stitches. Work 1 puff stitch. Start by working 3 incomplete double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook once. Finish the puff stitch. Move on to 3 chain stitches for a transition. Skip 2 stitches. Work 1 single crochet. Then skip 2 stitches respectively. Alternate crocheting puff stitches and single crochets. Crochet with 3 chain stitches as a transition. Repeat this process. Keep crocheting until you reach a certain distance from the edge. When you get to the approximate position, count the number of stitches now. From the first stitch of the next SC3 in 1. See how many stitches there are in between. At the same time, since you need to crochet the puff stitch at the centered stitch of SC3 in 1, if it's not possible to alternate by skipping 2 stitches according to the pattern, then here you should follow the pattern. You can adjust the number of stitches you skip 1 stitch or skip 3 stitches, as long as the fabric comes out flat, it's fine. Continue crocheting down to the centered position of SC3 in 1. After finishing the centered stitch, skip 1 stitch. Start from the next stitch. Alternate crocheting single crochets and puff stitches. Skip 2 stitches in between, and crochet with 3 chain stitches as a transition. Keep crocheting all the way down to the next centered stitch position of SC3 in 1, and you need to crochet a puff stitch at the centered stitch position, so when everyone crochets and there's a bit of distance left, you can count the stitches, then adjust the number of skipped stitches based on the actual situation. After finishing the centered stitch, continue down this edge. It's identical to the first edge. Start by skipping 1 stitch first, then make 1 single crochet. Afterwards, skip 2 stitches alternately and crochet puff stitches and single crochets. Use 3 chain stitches as a transition. When crocheting and there's still some distance left, remember to count the stitches and adjust according to the actual situation. You also need to crochet at the centered stitch of SC3 in 1. Make a puff stitch there. After completing it, the remaining edge is the same as the second edge. Start by skipping 1 stitch to the left first, then alternate crocheting single crochets and puff stitches. Skip 2 stitches in between, and crochet 3 chain stitches as a transition. When there's still some distance left at the end, adjust according to the actual situation. After finishing this last puff stitch, and 3 chain stitches, skip the remaining part, and slip stitch on the starting single crochet. Pull tight. That completes the third round. Now crochet the fourth round. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. This counts as 1 double crochet, then crochet 3 chain stitches as a transition. Pick the adjacent stitch of the puff stitch. Work 1 double crochet. Three chains and 1 double crochet. This is the corner. Then crochet 3 chain stitches as an interval. Next, pick the adjacent single crochet position, and work a double crochet. 3 chain stitches as an interval. Then pick the puff stitch, and work 1 single crochet. 3 chain stitches as an interval. The crochet pattern for the rest of this round is at the corner position, which is where you previously worked SC3 in 1. And in the center stitch of the puff stitch, work 1 double crochet, then 3 chains and 1 double crochet for the other edge positions. When you encounter a single crochet, work a double crochet, and when you encounter a puff stitch, work a single crochet. In between, always separate them with 3 chain stitches. The edges and corners are also separated by 3 chain stitches. Follow this method, and complete the remaining part. After finishing the last 3 chains, at the top of the beginning chain, which is the third chain counting upwards from below, pick up 2 strands and insert the hook. Work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the 4th round. Move down to the 5th round. Start with 1 chain stitch as the beginning chain. Correspondingly work 1 single crochet. Then pick up the stitches from double crochets and single crochets, and work single crochets evenly. For the 3 chain space, correspondingly work 3 single crochets. Complete this round entirely. After finishing the last stitch, slip stitch into the starting single crochet. Pull tight. That's how you complete the 5th round. Now move on to the 6th round. Start by picking up stitches from the left. Work 1 slip stitch. There's no need to tighten here. Then chain 1 to begin. Correspondingly work 1 single crochet. Next, crochet with a 3 chain bridge. Skip 3 stitches below. Now you're at the 3 single crochets of the corner chain space. Pick up the first and third stitches respectively. Work corresponding single crochets, with a 3 chain bridge in between. After completing, skip 3 stitches below. Work corresponding single crochets, with a 3 chain bridge between single crochets. Keep going until you're 3 single crochets away from the next corner chain space, when there's still a bit of distance left. You've reached the approximate position. At this point, count how many stitches are left before the corner, 3 single crochets away. See how many stitches remain. If you can't follow the pattern of skipping 3 stitches, you can adjust accordingly, by skipping 2 stitches or skipping 4 stitches instead. Then, at the 3-corner position, pick up the first and third stitches for single crochets, with a 3-chain bridge in between. For each side afterward, skip 3 stitches and work a single crochet, with a 3-chain bridge in between. Work single crochets on the first and third stitches at the corner, with a 3-chain bridge in between. Every time you reach a certain distance from the corner, count the number of stitches, then adjust based on the actual situation. Follow this method to finish the remaining part. Complete the last 3 chains, skip the remaining stitches, slip stitch into the starting single crochet. It doesn't matter if you tighten it or not here. Finally, fasten off the yarn. Start with 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a little yarn tail. Break the yarn. Pull tight. Weave the yarn tail into the wrong side of the fabric. You can hide a few more stitches if you like. This concludes the explanation for crocheting a single piece. For styles that require 2 pieces, following the same method, crochet another piece. After completion, press the wrong side of the piece flat. Next, we'll make and attach the straps. Different styles require different amounts and lengths of straps. However, the making method is the same. The exact quantity and length are marked on the pattern chart. But for a closer fit, the length might need to be adjusted according to the actual situation. Here, you can first learn the method. Then you can start working on it. I'll first demonstrate the crocheting method for the straps. Pick up the yarn first, and leave a length of about 4 to 5 times the required strap length. You can leave it a little longer if needed. Next, make a slip knot. Place it over the crochet hook, and slightly tighten it. Hang the yarn with your left hand, and lay the reserved yarn over the hook like this. There are 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, and draw through once. Continue wrapping the yarn. Yarn over, and draw through once. Don't pull the strand too tight. Repeat this process until you reach the desired length. After reaching the desired length, enlarge the loop on the hook. Leave about 10 centimeters of yarn. Cut it off. Leave about 10 centimeters for the other tail as well. That concludes the demonstration of crocheting the strap. Since every ounce crochet tension may vary, when attaching the strap to the fabric piece, it might end up being too long, or too short. Here, I'll demonstrate how to adjust it. Let's start with adjusting if the strap is too short. I'll randomly choose a position to attach the strap for this example. I'll attach it randomly here. After attaching, adjust the tightness. Tie the remaining strap into a bow. That's the complete process of installing the strap, while threading and tying the bow at the end. If the length is insufficient, you can tie a knot to join the yarn. Join the yarn at both ends of the two tails. Then use the longer two tails. To pick up two loops, yarn over and hook out. Then continue wrapping the yarn. Continue crocheting. Everyone can make adjustments while working. Repeat this process until you reach the desired length. Then leave about 10 centimeters of tail and cut off. Pull the yarn through from the hook. Tie a double knot with the two tails to secure. Use a crochet hook to hide the tail inside the fabric. You can hide a few more stitches. Use the same method to hide the other tail inside. Also hide both the knot and the tails into the fabric. This is the adjustment method when the strap is too short. If the strap is too long, just undo it while crocheting. That concludes the explanation of adjusting and making straps. Finally, let's attach the straps. Here I will demonstrate the strap attachment for each style. For convenience in explaining, I'll number each style. Let's start by attaching the strap for style 1. Refer to the charts first, everyone. Pick up the corresponding strap for this style. This style has two identical straps. Here, I'm demonstrating with a small swatch. This style only requires one piece of fabric. Place it horizontally. Then fold it in half vertically. Pay attention, the right side should face out. You can use a sewing needle to help here. Thread the needle. then at the edge. Insert the strap into the hole at the corner. Align the beginning and ending of the strap. Next, cross the strap through the 2 holes on top. Once completed, pull it tight slightly. Then tie a bow. On the other side, attach another strap symmetrically through 4 holes. Attach a strap here. After completing, tie a bow. That concludes the strap installation for style 1. Now let's move on to the strap installation for style 2. There are 4 straps of identical length. For convenience in understanding, here I will first use a small sample to explain the strap attachment positions. Align the wrong sides of the 2 fabric pieces together. Place them horizontally. And then use 1 strap each time. Starting from the corner at the bottom of the short side. Threading the strap upwards from bottom to top. Stop when you reach about halfway along the short side. Then use another strap. Starting from the corner of the top long edge. Threading the strap inward from the edge. Stop when there is still a bit of distance remaining from the middle. Finally, try it on over your head. And check if the neck and cuff positions fit properly. This is the strap installation position for style 2. Next, I will demonstrate the installation method using the finished product. Start by threading the strap through the short side. Begin by inserting the strap through 2 holes at the corner edge. You can also thread the strap through a sewing needle, which makes it easier to handle. Align the beginning and ending of the strap. For convenience, start with one side of the strap. Take the left strap and thread it through the 3rd hole from the bottom on the right fabric piece. Then, thread it out through the 6th hole from the bottom on the left fabric piece. Exit through the 6th hole from the bottom on the left fabric piece. Then on the right fabric piece. At a distance from the previous exit point, come out through the 5th hole after it. On the left fabric piece, also exit through the 5th hole after it. Continue threading the strap with intervals of 5 holes on both sides. Thread until you reach about halfway along the short side. Stop when you reach an appropriate position. Thread the other strap into a sewing needle. Start from the centered hole that is 5 holes apart from the last one. Thread the strap back and forth between the left and right sides. Keep threading until it reaches a position symmetrical to the previous strap. When you reach the corresponding position, adjust the strap slightly and pull it straight. Then tie the strap into a bow. This side strap is now attached. For the other short side, thread the strap in the same way. After completing, start threading the strap from the edge of the long side. Moving inward, the method is the same. Start by inserting through the edge hole. Align the beginning and ending, then start with one side first. Begin by exiting every 2 holes apart on the first side. When you reach the other side, exit every 5 holes apart. Continue threading the strap with intervals of 5 holes on both left and right sides. Stop when you are a certain distance away from the middle. Then take the other end of the strap and thread it, in the same way, reaching the symmetrical position. Finally, repeat the same method on the other end of the fabric piece. Thread the strap inward from the edge. Stop when you're still partway to the middle. At this point, everyone should try it on. If the top holes are too small, you can unthread the strap from a few holes. If it's too large, you can continue threading through a few more holes. It all depends on the specific situation. Once completed, simply tie a bow. That concludes the explanation for the installation of Style 2's straps. Next, we'll move on to the strap installation for Style 3. The installation method is the same. This style has 3 straps of varying lengths. Here, I'll first use a small sample to explain the position and method for installing the straps. Place the 2 fabric pieces vertically. Then fold the pieces in half along their long edges. Note that the right side of the pieces should face outward. Next, pick up the shortest strap. Following the previous method for threading straps, start from the hole at the corner of the long edge on the bottom. Thread the strap upwards. Stop when you've reached about halfway up this side. Then pick up the longest strap. Thread it from the bottom upwards at the back. Stopping near the top. Finally, use the remaining strap. along the bottom edge to go around the two pieces. When installing, thread the strap through every other hole. After threading, the other end of the strap should be at the hole in the opposite corner. Once done, you can try it on at this point. The final effect looks like this. The side with the opening in front is the right side. Here, you can adjust the position of the straps and their tension according to your preference. After completing the adjustments, tie the remaining part of the strap into a bow. Tighten the bottom strap slightly to fit properly around you. Then tie it into a bow as well. That concludes the explanation for the strap installation of Style 3. Next, we will move on to the strap installation for Style 4. Again, I will first explain the positioning. I will still use the sample swatch to demonstrate. This style has two straps of identical length. Place one piece vertically first. Then place the other piece horizontally. Start inserting the strap from the corner hole underneath the short side of this fabric piece. Finish weaving the strap through the short side. Then stop. Next, take the corner on one end of the long edge of the horizontal piece, and join it with the short edge at the top of the vertical piece. Insert the strap from the edge of the short side inward. Continue until there is still a bit of distance left. Try it on over your head, then adjust the size of the opening based on the actual situation. The final product will have this effect. The bottom has an irregular shape. That concludes the explanation of how to install the straps for Style 4. At this point, the making and attaching of the straps have been fully explained. Up to this point, the entire making method for the shawl has been completely explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.